Kevin Koresky with TritipTV. I'm here with the amazing Gina Kehr, professional female triathlete at the 2009 Ironman Arizona race here in Tempe. Gina, how did you prepare for this race after having a little 6-week downtime after Kona?
Well, let's see. Quite frankly, I worked a lot on my head. Kona was a big letdown for me. I'm not going to lie. Many people may think that I dropped out of the run because I wasn't feeling good, but in actuality, I got 4 bike penalties and was disqualified. Having been to that race 8 times and having that be my race and everything about it, and having a family and using one race to really peak for it was emotionally very draining. So these last 6 weeks, mentally, I've had to really gain some strength and get my mindset back in the game. And physically, I didn't do any long volume and increase my intensity for the last 3 to 4 weeks, and so I feel pretty good. And as bad as Kona was, I think it in the end helped me with a little more fitness too. So I guess that's good.
So it really boils down to it was more of a mental recovery than it was a physical recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your goal for tomorrow?
To win. Quite frankly, I mean, I have some underlying issues that I need to take care of, and I have a little anger in me, I'm not going to lie, and so, to come back from what happened in Hawaii and to get my first Ironman win, essentially, would be about the best thing that could happen, to make lemonade of my lemons that I was dealt.
Well, the good thing is you're not one of the pros that's very, handed out the drafting penalties and seeing the different issues out there, and to get the blast of, 4 was it out there in Kona? That must have been kind of a smack in the face as your career, because you've had a great career. You've been going for a long time. You've been going hard. You've been doing this stuff since 1998.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
1998?
Wow. Good job.
You got a website. Tell us a lot of information. But I know you started doing Ironmans in 1998. Was your first one, and you're pretty immune to the whole drafting thing, and now you get 4. Kona, how do you rebound from that? I mean, what do you got to think about that in the off season, going into next season, because with the age group, we're still being able to catch you guys on the bike. It almost makes it an unbalanced or an unfair playing field when it comes to the female pros. What can be done? What do you do for your own mental preparation going into next year to, either minimize it or go back to that having 0 coming into the race?
You know what? In all honesty, I think part of it comes down to education for me. I mean, I kind of feel like, it's clearly I'm one of the older pros in the circuit, and there was a level of expectation that's been around for a very long time. Races were done a certain way, and now that the women's field specifically is getting bigger and stronger, I think for me it's going to have to come to really just kind of reworking the whole system and figuring out where that line is now. I mean, I thought I had it down, and I'll be honest, in the pro meeting when we talk about drafting, it's kind of like, okay, well, I know what works. I've been doing it the last however many years as far as, sitting in the right areas, and never have really been quote unquote targeted. So now it's much more cautious and, trying to find where that is. So what my 10 meters isn't clearly what theirs is anymore. So it's education.
But is it education for you, or wouldn't it be better if it was education for everybody from the age groupers on up?
Yeah.
Because when it gets to that point where it's intermingling amongst the age groupers and the pros, that the age groupers should be as well versed in their education in the sport as well as the pros coming up. Because a lot of pros seem to be able to get into the ranks. I'm not going to say it's easy to get in the ranks, but some of them know how to get in whatever way they do, and they may not have the best education as far as the race. They know how to race, but there's still an education level that goes into it. Hence, CO2s being used at Kona a couple years ago. Somebody had an issue, and these levels of education could go really, really far. And I think it's just it should be wide range. I've always thought that maybe you should set up like a school type of thing. You have to, if you get into certain ranks, even in the pro, even the age groupers have to have a little bit of level of education. I know USAT does a great job with teaching the coaches how to coach, but coaching an athlete and having the athlete actually know about the substance of the race and how it really evolves during game time.
Right.
Right.
I think the sport is growing. It's it's trying to make a big jump, and I think that you're right. And I think it's going to come down to everybody kind of getting in everybody else's shoes and see what's going on the playing field with everyone, and especially with the men and the women. There's a whole issue that is at hand there that needs to be addressed, and it's going to come to education on them as well as us, and as well as the organization. I mean, it's up to them to also help us out. We want to set everybody up for success, not going to races feeling like, you're fighting not to fail. And that right now for me is kind of the feeling that I have in my left taste in my mouth from Kona.
Well, yeah, it's one thing to have the physical failure,
right?
Because you either didn't train right or you just happen to have a bad day,
right?
But when you're being pulled out of a race because of a DQ, because of drafting, or whatever else happens out there, yeah, that takes away that uneasy feeling. And Ironman and 70.3s are mental enough and physical enough without having to worry about running from the cops.
Exactly, and it also affects, it's not just the athletes, it affects the whole family of it. I mean, I'm married, I have 2 children, I balance a lot in my life. My whole family has sacrificed for me to do what I do for a living, and that's be a professional athlete. And to travel everybody to Hawaii and to do all this, and then to have that taken from you for exactly that, not an ailment of your body or you didn't perform well, but because you were, 8 meters instead of 10 or whatever it was, or, the judging that was out there, you weren't over, it's just, it just doesn't seem right. And like I said, the biggest shock of it is because years past, that's not been the case. And to have the change, I'm all for change and increasing sports, raising the bar. But to do it without feeling like we've been educated is just the hardest thing.
Well, it was a definite bummer to what happened out there in Kona. I know you're going to be doing great tomorrow, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much, and I'm real excited for tomorrow. It'll be good. Put those demons away, make that lemonade. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.